This week, it's a deep dive on League of Legends. Now that MSI is in the books, League is coming back to North America, but the LCS Republic is in turmoil, and then also something about trade routes in there. Let's go. Teams and players are threatening to leave the LCS, and it might be a lose-lose situation for Riot. Okay, so let's start with the team side of things. In a statement last week, TSM announced that they were leaving the LCS, going to another Tier 1 region in pursuit of a World Championship, basically admitting that it's impossible to win an international title from North America. And it kind of is, because it's never been done before. TSM has been with North American League of Legends since the beginning back in 2011. So this is going to be a big hit for the already struggling LCS. But maybe Andy is right here. I mean, the last 4 times the team made it to Worlds, they failed to get out of the group stages. And they haven't even made it to Worlds or lifted an LCS trophy since 2019. Mix that with all the financial trouble in the esports world right now, the FTX debacle that TSM dealt with last year, the declining viewership in the LCS already. Maybe the best move for TSM is taking their ball and going somewhere else. What's worse is this could be just the beginning for the LCS. I mean, CLG already sold their spot to Energy earlier this year, and there's also rumors that 100 Thieves and Dignitas were fielding offers from other potential buyers as well. Now, for the time being, there's no timeline for TSM's transition out of the league. We should expect them to at least play through the summer split, maybe even come back next year. And that brings me to my next story, which is why the players are threatening to walk out on the LCS. Riot announced changes to the North American Challengers League, that is the tier 2 of the LCS, with the biggest one being that the LCS teams no longer need to field a Challengers team. Now, this was framed as a way to make competition better and more open, but really, it was just a cost-cutting measure for the teams. And surprise, surprise, 7 of the 10 teams have already pulled out. Cue the LCS Players Association and their plan for a walkout. The LCSPA is finally standing up to Big Brother on this one, and part of that reason is because this move could lead to the end of the NACL and all up-and-coming talent. The move has already left 70 players, coaches, and managers out of work overnight. Now, I'm skeptical on whether or not the LCSPA can convince 26 of the 50 LCS players to step up and protest something bigger than themselves, but at least the LCSPA is actually doing something about this issue. Most esports players associations don't do anything. Looking at you, CSPPA. And I do understand the anger from the LCSPA. Teams are complaining about how expensive it is to run an NACL team, but most spend about $500K on theirs. And yes, that does sound like a lot until you realize that this year Riot gave every single team $3 million in revenue shares. That's not including sponsorships or merchandise sales or any other revenue source for the teams. That's just in the contract to be in the LCS. So 17% doesn't seem like that big of a pie, especially when it's about protecting the future of the league. Now, to give Riot some credit, they have found a couple of teams to step into the NACL to fill in the gap that those LCS teams have left behind, but they're mostly amateur players not ready to play at the semi-pro level, and they're mostly amateur organizations who can't afford to pay their players or coaches or managers a livable wage like LCS teams could. Now, the walkout is set for June 1st, which would be day 1 of the LCS summer split, but the vote on whether the walkout even happens or not is set for Sunday, May 28th, which is today, the day that I'm recording this. So the decision could already be out depending on when this video comes out, and this whole segment might be completely irrelevant. But if it's not and the walkout is happening, there's good reason behind it. Okay, some non-League of Legends news before we wrap up this episode. We'll go over to Counter-Strike, my favorite sport, and talk about one of my favorite players. Nitro announced his retirement earlier this week from Counter-Strike. The team hasn't really lifted a lot of trophies in the last few years, but it's important to remember how long Nitro's career was, featuring his time at Team Liquid, where he took them to be the best North American team and, for a period of time, the best team in the world, featuring a 63-day Intel Grand Slam victory. He's definitely going to be missed, but he's got a second kid on the way, and I think the retirement here is well worth it for him. So who knows, maybe he'll come back for Counter-Strike 2, but in the meantime, I hope he enjoys his time off. And that's the episode for this week. If you made it this far in the video, first of all, thanks for watching. But in the comments below, let me know your favorite pizza topping. Why not? We'll do it for the engagement. Leave me a like, subscribe for more content as well, and I'll see you when I see you.